Hey everybody, this is part 2 of our tutorial series on using the FreeCAD Path Workbench. In this video I'm going to cover the basic workflow of setting up a job and show you some of the details about the objects that Path created underneath that job node in the tree and the implications of those objects, what can go wrong, and how you can use them to improve your workflow and the output onto your machine. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm showing on the screen is a sample object that has features on two different sides. So you could imagine that this pocket needs to be cleared in one step, and these holes need to be drilled in a separate step with a separate setup on the machine. We could also imagine that this contour needs to be cut out from the surrounding material. In the typical path workflow to get started, we select the object we're going to work on, either in the tree or in the canvas, and click on the Create Path Job Object icon on the toolbar. A dialog is presented where we can confirm that we have the right base model and select a template if we want. In this case, I'm going to use no template and just take the default. The Job Edit dialog has a lot of things that can be configured, and we'll get into some of those a little bit later. For right now, I'm just going to say OK again. A new node has been added to the tree and is collapsed by default. If I open it up, we'll see that 5 objects have been created by Path automatically. The first is a default tool controller that's used by any operations that we create. We can add other tool controllers later. The operations node is a group which will contain all of the operation icons as we create them moving forward. The base body and stock objects I'm going to talk about at length in the rest of this video. The setup sheet I'll cover in a later video. It has features that can help streamline the creation of operations. The base body and stock objects are hidden by default. Their icons are grayed out. At any time you can select them and press a spacebar to toggle the visibility. You'll see that the stock object is this rectangular frame around my model. If I toggle the visibility of base body, I won't see anything right now, and we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm going to toggle the stock off once more, and then I'm going to open up the job dialog again. You'll see that when the job dialog is open, the stock object is shown by default. Let's switch to the Setup tab and see how to configure this. By default, the stock object is taken from the bound box of our base model and then extended in 1 millimeter in any direction. We can change this extension for either or both directions at the same time. And the same for each dimension. In this case, I'm going to leave these at 1 for every dimension except for the Z maximum, and I'll increase that by 10. I'll click on OK to confirm. If we create a mill face operation now, we can see the effect of configuring our stock object on the path calculations. I'm going to turn on the stock object so we can see the boundary, and I'm going to pivot this to the front view. The first thing you'll see is that the rapid moves that get us into cutting position are above the boundary of the stock, and this is to avoid collisions. The next is that all the feed moves are actually below the surface or midway through the material. There's actually 2 step downs happening here, the first midway through the material and the second on the face. When a path job is first created, the origin or 0, point is taken from the coordinate system of the base model. This probably isn't correct, and you'll want to establish a new origin point related to the machine you're using to cut the part. Let's see how to do that. But first, I'm going to delete the mill face operation so the view is clear. Open up the job dialog and pivot the model so you can see that a datum was already inserted corresponding to the 0, point of the base model. Select a vertex either in the base model or in the stock object. Switch to the Setup tab and click Set Origin. If I click on OK, something odd is going to happen. You'll see that our model jumped out of the boundaries of the stock object. If I reopen the job, it goes back, but it comes out every time I dismiss. If you remember, when the job was created, this base body object was created automatically and its visibility was set to hidden. If I toggle it now, you'll see that I have two copies of the model in my document. In actuality, the base body that was created is a clone of the original. Any operations that are done within Path are actually calculated from this clone object. This is a linked clone, and any changes made to the original will be reflected in the clone. I'm going to toggle the visibility off to show how Path manages the visibility. If you open a job and switch to the model, you'll see that the original is hidden and the base body is shown. Clicking OK makes the original visible and hides the base body. In fact, Path will manage this visibility and restore it to whatever condition it was in before. Likewise, if you're editing an operation, the path base body will be shown and the original will be hidden. This allows you to see the path in relationship to the part. However, if you close the operation, it'll appear as though the path is misplaced. Because the path operations are calculated from the placement of the base body clone and not the original part, we can take advantage not only of the location of the part, but also its orientation. And this is how we'll deal with the drilling operation that needs to be performed on a different face. First, we'll select the body object and create a new path job. Make sure that the base model points to the body and not the base body of the original job. Next, select an edge from the model that you want to be aligned with the Z-axis, and click on the Z-axis button to shift the orientation. Next, change the stock extents to any other option, and then set it back to the model's bound box to have it recalculate. Adjust the dimensions as needed, and then click OK to accept. Next, add a drilling operation, and make sure to put it in the second job created. On the base geometry, make sure that the holes are identified, and say OK. If you need to have your part placed in an unusual orientation, or if you're just having trouble getting it positioned correctly, remember that the base body object that's used by Path is a completely separate object, and you still have all the tools in FreeCAD to change its orientation and its location. For instance, I'm going to toggle off the original body object and turn on the base body and the stock object from my second job. By clicking on the base body object, I get the positioning tool, and I can rotate the object and position it manually. Of course, editing the properties for the placement manually can also be done. Select the object, go to the Data tab, and enter any value that you need. Well, that's a pretty good introduction to the stock object and the basics of configuring a path job. Now remember, for each unique orientation of your part on the milling machine or router, you're going to need a separate path job to do those operations. Now I haven't spent much time getting into the details of the operations themselves, and I'll start covering those in the videos that follow. But if you're interested in seeing how this particular object would be created end-to-end, I'll do a fast walkthrough, and I won't say much, but you can see how it all kind of comes together. I hope that helps, and please come out to the forum, ask any questions, or post comments below. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Let's put this together. Let's put this together.